All right, Shalom Akim. This is the brother lawyer
And Shamar.
from the GMS Miami camp, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone out in New York, and salutations to all the Akim out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. Today we're going to get into another time capsule, GMS time capsule number 5, and we're going to get into some scriptures and link it up with some articles dealing with some artifacts and archaeology concerning the scriptures, like we always do. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Brother, we're going to get into 2 Kings, the 20th chapter, verse 20.
All right, this is 2 Kings, chapter 20, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might, and how he made a pool and a conduit and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?
Right. So here in 2 Kings 20, you have a scribe recording all the acts of Hezekiah and talks about his might and how he made a pool and a conduit and brought water into the city. Right. And it says that it's recorded in the book of Chronicles, the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. Now that what that word conduit means is in the Hebrew, when you go into the Hebrew, it means water course or channel. So it's talking about a specific tunnel, and we could go into it. When you look in the Hebrew, it's talking about actually like a specific tunnel that Hezekiah made to bring water into the city. And you know, further in the lesson, we're going to get into it.
So basically, it was an aquifer,
so to speak, kind of. And in the Hebrew, is the Hebrew word is tha'ila, and it means conduit, water course, trench, healing, bandage, or plaster, which is not what we're dealing with here. And you go into the Junius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. The first definition, it says a channel, 1 Kings 18:32, a water course. Okay. So Hezekiah made this tunnel to bring water into the city, and we're gonna go into the scriptures and into second Chronicles 32, and we're gonna bring that out as well.
All right, 2 Chronicles 32:2. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was purposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him.
Right. So here in 2 Chronicles 32, as it is written in 2 Kings, you have a recording of Hezekiah. He saw that Sennacherib was coming, and the reason why it says that is because Sennacherib had already conquered a lot of the cities of the southern kingdom of Judah, and the last thing that he was going to do was come to Jerusalem and take over and destroy Jerusalem. Right. So King Hezekiah saw that this was getting ready to happen, and so he called all his princes and his officials and his mighty men, his workers, and they stopped the water which was without the city, which basically was a water source that was outside of the city of Jerusalem, outside of the city walls, and redirect the water and force the water to go into the city of Jerusalem, so that as we keep reading, it'll explain why. Keep reading.
Verse 4. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, why should the king of Assyria come and find much water?
Right, because they were getting ready to surround Jerusalem and siege Jerusalem, right? So the people were like, you know what, Hezekiah's right, let's stop the water, let's redirect the water course, make a tunnel, and block the Assyrians from actually coming and surrounding our city and being able to survive off of our water source. So while we're trapped in the city waiting for the Most High to deliver us, we'll have a water source that the Assyrians won't know about. So you're gonna hop into the article to link that up with the scriptures. This article is from the reclaimingthemind.org, and the title of the article is called Top 10 Biblical Discoveries in Archaeology, number 7, Hezekiah's Tunnel. And the article is by Tim Kimberly. So we're gonna hop into it right now. You can start reading at the year.
All right. The year is 701 BC. Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, has destroyed nearly every prominent town in the southern kingdom of Judah.
Right, man, and we went that in earlier time capsules with Sennacherib's prism, and we went into Sargon II, etc., etc. Kind of Lachish reliefs. So so we went into that. Sennacherib came as is recorded in the scriptures, and as is recorded in archaeology and in history. He came and he destroyed a lot of the prominent cities in the southern kingdom of Judah. Go ahead.
Israel lies in ruins. Sennacherib thrusts the power of the Assyrian army towards the all-important city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem houses the God of the Jews. The defeat of Jerusalem would be a large strategic and symbolic victory.
Right. So the reason why the author of this article is saying that is because when you read the account in Isaiah and you read the account in Chronicles, you read how Sennacherib sent his ambassadors and said, had any of the other gods of the other nations delivered them from the king of Assyria, and Sennacherib sent his army, and he was about to come and surround Jerusalem, siege Jerusalem, and either we were going to surrender, or they were going to attack the city and defeat us, man. They were going to come into the temple of the Lord and destroy the temple and defile the temple, man. Okay, so for Sennacherib, since he viewed himself as divine, if you will, he viewed himself as a divine anointed king from his God. It would have been a symbolic and a strategic victory for him, because as we went into Sennacherib's prism the last time capsule, you could see Sennacherib was a really boastful king. Khan.
The Assyrians employed the military strategy of the siege. The army surrounds the fortified walls of a city, cut off all water and food to the city, and then they wait.
Right. So that's the whole purpose of a siege. You just surround a city and you cut off all water and food, and the people inside the city, they die or they surrender.
Yep.
And if you guys feel like mounting an attack, you guys have no food. You guys are too weak to fight. So that's the reason why Hezekiah stopped and blocked the water course outside the city, so that the Assyrians would not have the advantage, and they wouldn't know. And basically the Israelites inside of Jerusalem would have a source of water that they didn't know about, and they would be able to survive and last throughout the city because it was a lot of water, man. Okay, so go ahead, keep reading out.
The term siege derives from cedar, Latin for to sit. Attacking armies would wait weeks, months, or even years. Assyria had recently besieged nearby Samaria, destroying it after waiting 3 years. As the people in the city grew sick and weak, the healthy army would then advance to destroy the city.
Khan.
There are usually only 3 outcomes of a siege: surviving by finding a way to get food and water, surrender, or die.
Khan. And that's King Hezekiah, the Most High put the spirit on him to opt for the first option.
Fuck that, we're gonna live.
God, keep reading that.
Jerusalem faces certain ruin. Hezekiah, one of the few godly kings, encourages his people to trust in the Most High. God will deliver them from Sennacherib. 2 Kings 18:7 tells us he rebelled against the king of Assyria and would not serve them. In 2 Kings 18, we learn that the Assyrian commander tells the people of Jerusalem, "Do not listen to Hezekiah, for he is misleading you when he says the Lord will deliver us." Has the God of any nation ever delivered his land from the hand of the king of Assyria? The Assyrians first tried to convince the people of Jerusalem to overthrow Hezekiah.
Right, man. The thing that the Assyrians didn't understand is that the Most High was with Hezekiah, man. Because Hezekiah was a righteous king, man. He followed after the Most High, man. He repented, man. He turned Israel to righteousness, man. So the Most High had his back, and gave him the wisdom to do what he needed to do in the time of distress, man. And the Most High sent his prophet Isaiah, which we went into the last time capsule, and comforted him, basically telling him that the Assyrians would not enter into the city, man. Okay, so the Assyrians was boasting, man, but they ain't know that Hezekiah and the daughter of Zion, man, had the Most High, the God of the universe, Yahweh, in their right corner, man.
Right. Ready?
Yeah.
The head Assyrian commander tells the people of Jerusalem, "Has my master sent me to speak these words to your master and to you, and not to the men sitting on the wall, who are doomed with you to eat their own dung and to drink their own urine?"
Yeah, man, and that's that classic heathen smack talk, man. Yep. We're gonna siege you, and we're gonna siege you so bad you guys aren't gonna have anything to eat or drink, that y'all gonna have to eat your own defecation and drink your own urine, man. But the Assyrians know that the people had Hezekiah's back, man. They believed Hezekiah, man, and they trusted Hezekiah, and they did what they needed to do in that time, man, as we read in 2 Chronicles 32, and they made the tunnel, man. Go ahead.
2 Kings 18:27. If the people of Jerusalem don't overthrow Hezekiah, they, their wives, and their children will be forced to desperate measures just to stay alive. The people of Jerusalem had a secret. They had been involved in one of the greatest engineering feats of the ancient world.
Right, man, because the Most High was with them, man. The scriptures say, the Lord is my helper, therefore will I never trust, therefore shall I not fear what man can do unto me, man. Okay, so the Most High put the spirit on Jake to get innovative, man, and make this channel to bring water into the city and block off the Assyrians from getting their water source, man. Go ahead.
It's amazing what humans can accomplish when their back are against the wall.
Nah, it's amazing what Israel can accomplish, what people can accomplish when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is in their right corner, man. Has their back, man.
Their back was never against the wall, man. Because like we was getting into in the last time capsule, it was clearly shown, man, that the Lord was with them. The Lord was with them. All right, so their back was never against the wall, man.
Khan.
Right?
That's right, man.
All right. The inhabitants of Jerusalem, facing certain death, found a secret way to get a consistent source of water into Jerusalem. The Bible, in 3 areas, briefly mentions our 7 discoveries. All right.
Go ahead and read the quotes.
Read the quotes. All right. The first quote says, "And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might, and how he made a pool in the conduit and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?" 2 Kings 20:20. Right. The second quote says, "And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was purposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, Why should the king of Assyria come and find much water?" 2 Chronicles 32, 2-4. The third one says, "This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of Gihon and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David.
Mm-hmm.
And Hezekiah proposed in all his works.
Mm-hmm.
Prospered. Hezekiah prospered in all his works. 2 Kings 32 and 30.
Khan, keep reading up.
Hezekiah trusted in the supernatural power of God, which is Yahweh, to deliver him, and he also employed in immense hard work and ingenuity to keep his people alive. The Bible tells us he hid the Jerusalem water supply from the Assyrians and brought it underground into Jerusalem. This is all we know from Scripture.
Khan, this is all we know from Scripture, man. Everything that was written aforetime was written for our learning, man. So Hezekiah, he basically blocked out the water source. He hid it and dug an underground tunnel that led into the city of Jerusalem, so that our people could have water in that time, man.
That's right.
And that's the reason why he took courage to do that, is because he trusted in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man.
That's right.
Okay, so because he trusted in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, gave him the courage, to go ahead and do that, man, because he knew that the Most High had his back, man.
That's right.
Khan.
Read Discovery.
Go ahead.
Discovery. In 1838, American biblical scholar Edward Robinson shook up the archaeological world by discovering Hezekiah's tunnel. Mm-hmm. The tunnel was far more spectacular than anyone could have imagined.
Right, man. And why did he shake up the archaeological world? You want to know why, man? It's because the secular world, the world outside of this truth, man, they don't believe in the scriptures, man. They think the scriptures is just a big fairy tale, and nothing is for sure, man. But here, in this truth, man, what we understand is that everything that's written in the scriptures actually happened, man. Okay, go ahead.
2 other tunnels had been dug in Israel out of soft chalky rock. Mm-hmm. The tunnel in Hazor is 82 feet long. Mm-hmm. The tunnel in Megiddo is 262 feet long. Mm-hmm. Hezekiah's tunnel, in comparison, was dug through solid bed rock, which is the length, solid bed of rock. What is the length of his tunnel? 1,750 feet.
Yeah, man. So how would Hezekiah and his men been able to do that, man? That means the Most High really put the spirit on them, man. Look how long that is, man. From the entrance of the tunnel all the way to the exit of the tunnel, man. Look how long that is, man. That means that Hezekiah and his men, the Most High had to put the spirit on them to work that quick, man, because the Assyrians were advancing, man. I don't know how long it took for the Assyrians to actually come and try to attack Jerusalem, or at what time and Hezekiah started and what time he finished, man. But you can tell that it was done at a pretty fast rate.
That shows the Lord had to, like you saying, that shows the Lord was with him, because the Lord had to put that strength in Israel to be able to finish that fast, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The tunnel provides a consistent stream of water through the city of Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. The tunnel takes water from the Gihon spring and empties out at a place called the Pool of Siloam. The tunnel, surprisingly, does not follow the most direct route from the spring to the pool. The tunnel travels in an S shape. If the tunnel was straight, it would have only needed to have been 1,070 feet, or 40% shorter.
Khan, you could skip down and start reading at toward 1.
Towards one end of the tunnel, amazingly, an ancient Hebrew inscription was found on the wall. The inscription commemorates the point when 2 teams digging from each end finally met in the middle. The inscription reads, when the tunnel was driven through, and this was the way in which it was cut through, I were still axes, each man towards his fellow. And while there were still 3 cubits to be cut through, there was heard the voice of a man calling to his fellows. For there was an overlap in the rock on the right and on the left. And when the tunnel was driven through, the quarrymen hewed the rock. Each man towards his fellow, axe against axe, and the water flowed from the spring towards the reservoir for 1,200 cubits. Okay, and the height of the rock above the heads of the quarrymen was 100 cubits.
Khan, and that inscription is called the Siloam inscription, which in the post-production we actually have an article here right now called the Siloam inscription in Hezekiah's tunnel, but we won't get into that. We don't want to have to repeat ourselves in this video, but we'll put it in the post-production under the description box. So yeah, we're gonna put the link in the description box. So here it is. You have the Siloam inscription, and it's basically telling you the events from the perspective of the workers, man. Because we read in Second Chronicles, Hezekiah made the decree, but now here it is. Not only do you have the tunnel, but you have an inscription inside of the tunnel, depicting the event from the workers' perspective, man. Okay, so the people who wrote this inscription were probably the same princes and mighty men that Hezekiah or that Second Chronicles mentions in chapter 32. Okay, so read that last paragraph, and that'll be it, man.
Scientists have used several tactics to confirm the 8th century date of the tunnel. Some, especially those who claim the Jewish people did not have the sovereign kingdom in Jerusalem, claim the tunnel must have been created substantially more recent than 2,700 years ago.
Right, man. And the people that's talking about is not the Jewish people, okay? It's not you Amalekite fakers. It's talking about the children of Israel, man. And archaeologists and historians, man, they try to say that the tunnel could not have been built, man. But scientists, using their various dating methods, prove that the tunnel was built in the time of King Hezekiah, man. Which shows you how these scientists and these archaeologists, these so-called experts, man, how they try to twist the history and the scriptures and the artifacts to suit their own means, man. And that's how you, that as a result of that, that's how you get these Israelites here in America that don't want to call themselves Israelites. That's how you get them saying, oh, that Israel never existed, the kings of Israel never existed, the Hebrews never existed. You get that from Esau, man. Okay, because Esau is the one who mainly pushes that stuff out there, man. But when you really do your research and you really do your studying and you really look at the scriptures and you try to match it up with history sincerely, the Spirit of the Most High is going to guide you, man, and it's going to prove the Most High is going to prove Himself, man. The scripture is going to prove itself right, man.
That's right.
Khan. Analysis
of the ancient writing, carbon 14 dating of the plant life, disrupted by the tunnel.
Uranium,
thorium dating of the stalactites
and
stalagmites that grew after completion of the tunnel have all supported a date of around 700 BC. The date given in the Bible before these events.
So now even scientists have to conclude and agree that that the dates that they've come up through their various scientific techniques to date that area of the tunnel matches the date that the scriptures had already given, man. Okay, the scriptures that was written thousands and thousands of years ago, who people say, oh, is irrelevant now today, man. You have people, scientists and so-called experts nowadays, looking into all these events and looking into all this archaeology and history, and they're coming to the conclusion that even though the Bible never claims to be the perfect book recording all history of the world, the things that it does say about history, the things that it does say about archaeology and things like that and events is accurate, man. 100% accurate, man. So with that, you know, you got anything else to add up?
Nah.
Khan, man. So with that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, for teaching us this truth, man, for allowing us, for being our teachers, man, and for giving us the understanding of how to study, search things out. And, you know, salutations to all the Akim out there doing the work and labor of love and truth and sincerity, man. With that, we hope this video is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is Brother Lawyer
and Shamar
from GMS Miami Camp. GMS time, capsule number 5. Shalom.
Shalom. Press FN, hold FN, and F10.
And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was coming, and that he was determined to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the springs which were outside the city, and they did help him. So there gathered a large group of people together, and they stopped up all the springs in the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, "Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water?"
We are now at the Gihon Spring. It contains an enormous amount of water.
Prior to Hezekiah's rule, all this water flowed outside the city through irrigation channels to the fields of the people and to the king's gardens.
When he prepared Jerusalem for the Assyrian siege, Hezekiah worried that the mighty army of Assyria would camp outside the city walls, gaining access to the city's water source.
He decided to prevent their use of the water by blocking and sealing the springs outside the city, including the Gihon Spring. He diverted the spring's water into an underground tunnel, which had been quarried into the heart of the mountain. Two groups of masons worked towards each other from both sides and met in the middle of the tunnel. And the water flowed from the source to the pool. The tunnel ends at the pool of Siloam, which was inside the city behind protective walls. The account of this engineering wonder is mentioned explicitly in the Bible and is also documented in the Shiloach inscription, which was discovered 6 meters from the end of the tunnel.
This is a copy of the inscription written in ancient Hebrew letters. It describes the dramatic moment when the two groups met inside the tunnel.
The masons were swinging their axes one towards the other, and they heard the voice of one man calling his fellow. And on the day of the tunneling, the masons bore through, one man towards his fellow, axe upon axe, and the water flowed from the source to the pool for 1,200 cubits.